Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding, and tonight we have a very special guest. This basketball head is an Andrew Jackson High School great. He was another product of New York City legend, head coach Chuck Granby. So you already know, he was the real deal. At Jackson, he was an all-city and all-Queens performer. He also won gold at the Empire State Games. Trust me, with his teammates, the late great Dave Edwards, Steve Frazier, and Atif Akins, they put up points that broke the scoreboard. In one game, Dave Edwards had 57, while our next guest poured in 47. Yes, in the same game. After high school, this basketball head attended Sacramento Community College and then attended Sacramento State. Once the game was over, as my sponsor, Eric Hicks, would say, this basketball head turned to become an entrepreneur. He is currently owner of Dome Publishing, with books like Thief of a Nation, The Trail of a Serpent, The Grand Masters, Defending the Word, In God We Lust, Open Secret Society, Cause, Effect, and Madness, and from Nigger to Nigga book series. Gotta check that out. This basketball head is also owner of Terra Dome Sports Apparel, Dome Accommodation Residential Services, LLC. He also owns the Triple OG sneaker. Can't wait to check those out. He also is a lecturer and mentor like myself. But just when you thought he was done, he is also DJ for Timeless Classics with Ted on FreshESTFM.com. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Andrew Jackson and Sacramento State great, William Teddy Portwine.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What up, fam?
What's going on with you, baby?
I am chilling, man. I'm so excited to reconnect with you, my brother.
Man, I can't believe it's been 31 years, bro.
Yeah, man. Time flies, brother. Time flies. Thank God we still here, brother.
Man, who you telling? We done lost a lot of good ones, great ones, as a matter of fact.
Man. That was one of the reasons why I started this show, you know. Want to give guys like yourself and others a chance to tell their story, because who knows who's going to rewrite this history later on.
Woo! That's a fact. And I give my congratulations to you, man, for a successful platform and all the guys that you had on it. I learned a lot just watching this. It was a lot of guys I didn't know about. I was like, I heard the name, but oh, snap. You know, that's crazy.
And you never really get to know the backstory, right?
Right.
The thing that usually stick out about a lot of us New York guys are the rumors, right? And
yeah.
The bad stuff that comes along with being a New York City basketball player, but a lot of good is not brought to the forefront. So this is why we're here.
Yeah, that's a fact, brother. That's a fact.
No doubt, man. So we want to get right into this, man. Who introduced you to the game?
I was introduced to the game by my brother. He actually beat me up and made me play because I was a football player.
Listen to this, brother. I was a football player as well. Let me tell you, bro. What position did you play?
I was halfback.
Wow.
4'11", 170, running a 4.40. Once I hit the hole, if you ain't get me, it was a foot race.
Right.
And I might drop the shoulder and drag for about 20. You know, I was a big Earl Campbell fan. You know,
brother. You and my guy KK, man, we would have ran high school football.
Oh man, downhill, forget about it.
Right.
Forget about it. You know, I love Earl Campbell, so
woo! Salute
you
to
know,
the legend Earl Campbell, who
that
thighs
was
is
my
like
guy.
the size of our body, right? His thighs is crazy.
What? Huge, brother, huge.
Yeah.
So
what part of
yeah.
Queens are you from?
I'm from Cambria Heights, Queens, Jamaica area. Born in the Bronx. Moved to Queens when I was 2. Most of my time in Cambria Heights. Some South Side. As you know, we all bounced around. You got single moms, so you bouncing around. So
right.
You know.
Well, but y'all know you made your mom proud, man, because brother, from your basketball days to now you being a grown man, being a successful entrepreneur. And let me tell you, my guy Eric Hicks is so big on you. He was just like, yo,
that's
this
big
guy
bro.
Ted Portwines is like a genius, man. I was like,
that's big bro, man. Me and E, you know, we met playing ball in the pickup gym. Then when I learned his history, we both was doing clothing around the same time. So we used to have these conversations on the sideline. And it just transpired over years. Beautiful human being, man. You know, I love what he's doing at the Bed-Stuy Dome, giving back to the kids. You know, because ultimately that's what all of this is all about.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. That's right. And after his show, man, he called me and he just texted me. He's like, brother, I think it was at the end of the show. He was just like, man, whatever I could do to help you, you know. And we've been rocking ever since, man. You see, he got me glossed up back here.
Yeah.
I gotta give all these awards. I gotta give all these awards away by the time season 3 get here. So if these people contact me and reach out, they get their awards. So, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I'm really proud of E and what he's done. We see everything he's doing now, but he had a rough run, man.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
That people see what they see, but they don't know what it took to get to the point where he's at now, man. You know, so I salute him 1,000%. I salute him.
Yeah, that's my brother for life, man. So, who are some of your biggest influences coming up?
Started in my house with my brother. Sort of like Rod and Byron. I felt like if I could beat my brother, nobody else could do anything with me because that's all I do. You know, we had, you know, the park that I run my tournament out of now, the Terror Dome. We had guys like Glenn Browning, my man Jose, a.k.a. Jughead, Charlie Tatum that played with Arnold Bernard, and Garfield Smith and those guys. My man IU, we used to call him Lamar Mundane because the shot was just so pretty. You know, it was like rainbow splash, you know. My man Marty Allen, who I watched as far as getting in the air and using your body, moving the ball around and maneuvering. You know, it's that park right there basically raised me in basketball outside of across town at O'Connell Park, where Derek Chivas and those guys used to come out in the summer and take the young guys and beat up on us on the big court. You know, Anthony Mason and Mark Jackson.
OCP, that's right.
OCP.
That's right.
First place I saw the Black Widow. Didn't even know who he was.
Right.
This guy was dribbling like he was on roller skates. I said the only other guy I seen do that was Dancing Doogie. This dude is tough. And talking at the same time and giving it to you. So rest in peace to Alamo, man. He was special too, man.
He was definitely one of the basketball greats and legends. You know, the gods touched him, man, because, you know, be that size to do what he was doing is incredible. Early on, we were seeing Lloyd Daniels give shades of it, but the jump shot was just so crazy. He didn't have to do so much of the ball handling, just enough to get him by. But the way Alamo was doing it, it was crazy.
Yeah, he had that ball on a string. He reminded me of some brother out of Queens named Craig Pendergrass. And Craig used to have the high dribble to sucker you into reaching so he could get you. You know what I'm saying? But I seen this guy, you know, when you take the ball out, he gets the ball. He doesn't even turn around at the defender. He starts dribbling behind his back. Gets to half court, face the guy, hit him with the high dribble, throws a no-look through traffic. The center catches it, and he was so messed up that the ball got through. He looks at the ball. He looks at the basket. 3 seconds. He couldn't believe that the pass got through there. I walked out the gym. I said, I seen enough, man. I don't need to see no more. I ain't never seen it.
When greatness see greatness, man, you recognize. That's like real recognize real, brother.
Yeah.
So when you was coming up, right, who was your first coach? And what was that first game like for you?
My first coach, we played CYO at St. Pascal's in St. Albans. It was a brother named Bruce Copeland who was also the baseball coach. And there's another brother named Paul Smith. And now that I look back on it, I really got to give those guys their props because they was only kids. You know, they seemed so much older, but they was teenagers.
Right.
And they took the time to coach us and really instill hard work, you know, suicides. After full practice, you got to make 10 in a row. Everybody runs and you're on the wall doing squats. So by the time I got to high school and college, it was a breeze. I was like doing this stuff since I was 8 years old, man. You know, so shout out to Bruce Copeland and Paul Smith. You know, we had loads of talent on that team. We had myself, Troy Escalade Jackson,
Woo!
Brian Walker,
Yes,
Jason Gilliam, Bart Pippen, like Stevie Frazier.
Yes.
We was like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old running like that.
Now, what is Steve the other guy in the photo with you and Dave?
No, that's Ted Hatcher. That was my backcourt mate when we were seniors. He died in a horrific car accident our senior year.
All right.
You know, but Ted, special, man. Special. I mean, and just hilarious, man. Just a beautiful human being, man. Like, my favorite part was the road trips. We used to travel in high school. You know, that's one thing I'll give to Coach Granby.
Right.
Rest in peace. He ran a class act, thing. We traveled with boys and girls a lot. Shout out to Coach Brown, Paul Brown.
They were like this. They was in high school. They coached the Empire State game, so they did
freaking crack, man. You know, those two guys. So beautiful times, man. You know, great competition throughout the city. You know, when you talk about those 2 years, 89, 90, Kenny Anderson, Brian Reese, Adrian Autry, Malik Sealy, so many guys. Christ the Kings, 1 through 5.
Ephraim Whitehead said that 1990 class may be the best class in New York City history. Now, I asked some people now. I asked Coach Haskins. He said might be. Who else? Coach Ted Gustis said it might be true. And also Rich Cossack. Like they was giving stamp of approval saying like that 1990 class was crazy.
I mean, you can argue. I mean, look at we got Jamal Mashburn. We got Robert Phelps, Brian Reese, Adrian Autry, Kylie Reeves, Derek Phelps. I mean, you could keep going.
The basketball and didn't even make the McDonald's. If we had 5 McDonald's from New York City that made McDonald's, and Mashburn wasn't one of them.
Hey, bro, let me tell you something. We played at the Martin Luther King Classic. We played Nazareth. Cardinal Hayes played August Martin.
Right.
So I never seen Jamal play up to that point. I just read about him in the paper. So I said, let me watch this dude, man. And about 5 minutes into the game, I said, yo, he's a pro, and I left. I see him get the ball from the point guard, wave the point guard down the floor, break the press, give the point guard back the ball, go post up, dunk, get an N1. He's out there handling, shooting. And I don't think, to put it in perspective, the body that he had in high school.
Yes.
Like nutrition and stuff in the pros slim you up. This dude was like thick doing this, and I'm like,
he was in the same way. The same way.
I said, he's a problem. You know what I'm saying? He's
right.
Mash was a problem. I don't care what nobody say. A problem.
And he's a monster now in the business world. So salute
Oh,
to
okay,
Monster
yeah,
Mash.
yeah. I follow him, man. I'm messing with him, man. I like what he's doing, man. You know,
He's doing a lot
hats
of
off
good
to him.
things.
Yeah, yeah, man. I really like what he's doing with the franchises and stuff like that. You know, and taking advantage of a lot of his relationships.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very important. You know, that's very important. And a lot of young folks who may be listening, all business is really relationship.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
You know, somebody's
Yeah.
going to need to open that door for you or plug you in somewhere, and you have to do the rest. But a lot of times it doesn't even happen without that.
Fact. So when you was coming up, who was the guy that everybody looked to in the neighborhood is like, yeah, we want to be like that? Was it D. Chivas?
It was Derek Chivas, there was Wendell Owens, and there was Boo Harvey.
Wendell Owens, I forgot about Wendell Owens, Syracuse. Yes.
Everybody, let me tell you something. We used to play Hollis Biddies, and every week when you got Player of the Week, they used to give you a star. Wendell had so many stars, he was giving them away because his whole shorts filled up with stars. My brother and Wendell played on the team called the Trailblazers.
Wow.
And they was killing it. There was also a brother that passed away named Clive Williams. For that age, that era, he was tough. Soft, finesse, shoot, handle, like do it all. And also, a lot of people don't know this, but my man Bimmy, James Anthony,
right,
was a hell of a ball player. Him and Robbie Gilchrist. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes. We all came up 8, 11 years old. Like, this is where I know these guys from. Childhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. My guy Cool Snow, the producer, said 89 was deep. He had Nutter Butter, Dave Edwards, John Strickland, McNasty, Andre McCullough, right? Kenny Anderson, Bob Hurley, Malik Sealy, so on and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. Like
Norman
I said,
Marbury.
like I said, well, Norm actually came out in '90 with me.
Okay.
So
But
you can add him on. You can add him on
I'm
outside.
talking about that year. I'm talking about that 90 year. Because
yeah, but
Ephraim came
these
out
guys,
that year as well.
Yeah, these guys here is like he's talking about '89. Yeah.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
those 2 years, boom. Everybody was getting some type of D1 scholarship.
Right.
Even if you wasn't going major, you was getting a scholarship somewhere. You know, so yeah, those 2 years there, to me, my opinion, was like,
man, that was tough, man. So why not Christ the King of Cardozo? Why Jackson?
Well, it's a funny story. I never wanted to go to Jackson. I wanted to get out of my brother's shadow, so we moved to Hempstead. So that's why I played 1 year at Hempstead High. I was actually in Hempstead.
I never knew that.
Right, I was actually in Hempstead in the 8th grade. So there's a brother named Kelvin Lee. Kelvin Lee was the point guard for Hempstead High at the time when I was in 8th grade. And our buildings were right across the street from each other. So, I'm finding my way around the neighborhood, and they had a little park. So it's in a dead-end street. So I go out there, and I'm watching the guys play. So Kelvin is out there playing a half court. And one of the guys quit. So he said, Shorty, come on. I'm like 13, so I don't even know who these guys are. I'm just, all right, let's play. So I hit the winning shot. And he's like, yo, Shorty's nice. He was like, yo, come on, we going to the gym. So I'm like, the gym? He's like, yeah. The gym he's talking about is the Salvation Army that Dr. J used to play at. It was down the street from my building.
Okay.
He introduced me to Ted Adams, who was the coach for Hempstead High. So now you got guys that are like 13 years my senior. So he says, let me see what you can do. They put me out there. So they thinking I'm a punk up, not knowing like I'll come out of IS8. So I'm already used to getting beat up by guys. So they used to play continuation. If they fire you and you score, is good. If you don't, you take the ball out. So I got aggravated with that because I'm like, yo, you guys are stopping the rhythm of the game. Right. Whatever you do, don't call for me. I'll call. So now they looking at me like, what? Because I'm a little guy. They like, oh, Shorty arrogant. We get out there, guys is hitting me, I'm scoring, I'm laughing. So Ted Adams is like, what high school you go to? I said, I'm not in high school. He's like, what? He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 13.
Woo.
Yeah, you coming to Hempstead High. You the future. And that's how that relationship started through Kelvin Lee.
Wow. How did you get back to Jackson now?
So now I'm starting to learn the politics of the game. It was another man named Don Adams who was the power. Ted
Yes,
Adams.
I heard about him. I heard about him, yes.
Right. He's the equivalent to Lou or Lodge out there.
Yeah.
Right. They call him the governor. Not even the mayor. They call him the governor. Right. So that only tells you something.
No, I did. I think Rick Holmes and a few other people talked about him.
Yeah. So out there in junior high school, you can play high school sports. So when the 8th grade season was over, I came over to JV. So I met guys like Kyle Lowry Jones, Nate Reeves, who coaches York College now. That was my backcourt thing.
Yeah.
Right. So me and Kyle was like my dude out there. So I'm in the building now, and I'm thinking like, man, when I come in next year, man, skip this JV stuff. I'm going to varsity. Never happened, right? So I said, all right, I'll do a year JV, no big deal.
Right.
Then the guy out there named Lamont Hughes. That was my arch nemesis. And we had a hate relationship. It wasn't no love in it. But I can understand it now because he's looking at it like this Queens dude trying to cut me. Right. So I get it. So long story short, Coach Adams tell me I may start my junior year. May. And I'm like, you bugging. I'm ready to go now. You tripping.
Right.
I don't know what you see, homie, but so I said, you know what? I don't want to do it, but I'm out. And that's how I wound up going back to Jackson. So we played the Big Apple games that summer. And Dave, myself, Ike Brown, Wayne Robbins, we had great chemistry. For guys that stepped on the court for the first time, you'd have thought we played together for like 10 years. And that's how it all transpired. Yep.
How important was the Big Apple games? This was like so important. You have no idea. You know, I know after when we first get introduced to basketball is a big thing, and kind of we forget about it once we get a little older. But how important was that for us?
The Big Apple games was very important because it was almost like the Junior Olympics.
Yes.
You know, so you're around all of this basketball, and you know it's the 5 boroughs, and then you get to meet other guys from other boroughs that probably you wouldn't meet until you got into the high school season. So you're getting all these different looks, and it's just like, you know, track and field. You know how it is. And not only that, the centers, the knock hockey, and you know the bumper pool, you know, and just stuff like that. And then you're also mingling with other athletes that are on the football team and stuff like that. So you build this whole community and brotherhood and fraternity, like now, like how we're talking.
Right.
You know, so socially, very important. I think that if they brought a lot of these programs back, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff that's going on in the streets now, because a lot of young folks would have a little safe haven and more constructive things to do with their time other than what they're doing. You know, so from a social perspective, yes, you know, athletics is always going to be what it is. But from a social standpoint, very important. Very important.
I definitely agree, man. I definitely agree. So what tournaments out there, besides like the Big Apple games, that was popping when you was coming up, they got you prepared for getting ready to go to Jackson?
Oh, man. I played with DeBron Murray, Young Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny somebody mentioned Nutter Butter because that's how I met David Murray, a.k.a. Nutter Butter. We used to practice in the basement of Salem Church. My grandmother lived in the building next to Salem Church.
That's his nephew. That's his nephew. That's on here.
Yeah, nephew. That's family. Yeah. My man Cook Slow. I messed with him. That's my guy. So my grandmother lived in the building next to Salem Church.
Right.
You know, so I remember DeBron says, yo, man, come down, we're practicing. So I'm like, for what? It's like, we got a game. So I'm like, all right. So I get there, I look around, I'm like, man, I don't know. And then I see the skinny guy, quiet, and I'm just like, man, in my mind, I'm like, man, can these guys play? And we started playing, and man, I was like, he doesn't waste any motion. He's basic, but you can't stop this dude. Like
Right.
everything he touches is going in, and he's physical with it. So I was like, yeah, we can rock with that. Yeah, let's go. So it's funny because Brian Walker earlier in his interview was talking about LaGuardia House, and I had totally forgot about LaGuardia House. Our first game was against David Kane and Dave Edwards in LaGuardia House. We played Gauchos.
Woo!
And they looked at us like they was going to just tear us off of the face of the earth. And after a while, they got a little worried. They was like, wait a minute. This ain't quite going the way we thought it was. But they wound up beating us, I think, by like 3. And that was actually my first time seeing David Kane play. And I was like, yo, he's tough, man. He's tough. I wish he would have went somewhere other than St. John, because they kind of made him slow his game down. You know, I never understood that. You know, if he had like
it happened to a lot of us. Trust me.
Yeah. I know for a fact if David Kane had more freedom in a college offense, he would have did way better than what he did.
Definitely.
Boo too,
So,
but Boo was scared to go to UNLV. He was scared to talk.
Boo should have left the city. Matter of fact, what is Boo up to these days?
Oh man, he's working transit, man. You know, living his family life with his wife and kids. Just doing his thing, man. Boo, model citizen, man. You know, what more can I say?
All right, listen. I remember playing with Boo, you know, streaking up in the Empire State Games, and he was just so cool. And then he found out my name was Pooh, right? And he used to always, you know, be like, yo, Pooh, come hang out with Boo. It's like, you know, and for a guy like that was so cool, who really didn't, like, he wasn't loud, he wasn't, you know, boisterous or anything like that. But when he spoke, you know, it definitely was on point.
Yeah, Boo. He's funny. A lot of people don't know that because he's so quiet. He's a funny guy, man. He talks on the low. He talks a lot of stuff.
I'm trying to get in contact with him. We all looking for him. If you ever speak to him, tell him we all looking for him, man.
I'll get him, man. You got to go through Bridget. You know, you got to go through his wife. You got to go through Bridget. You got to go through his wife.
You're gonna be my bridge, man. We're gonna make that happen. That's right.
Yeah, definitely.
No doubt. So now, when you was at Jackson, you, Dave, was Steve Frazier there with you guys?
No, Stevie came later. Stevie's a little bit younger than us.
Got you.
So
he was more with Atif. Atif played with you as well, right?
Atif played with us, yes. Atif Atif came from Florida. He came from Florida. I really like what he turned into, because he didn't really get a lot of opportunity there with us because of how Coach ran it. Yep. But when I saw him later on, I was like, phew.
Peace, right?
I see you, little bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, and
he said,
that was the thing.
He always said, yo, Taze, to beat on me, man, beat on me. But I appreciate it so much because when I played against everybody else, it was a piece of cake, right? For the training that Tay gave me when I first got on the team, man. So definitely salute to you.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about, because, you know, that's what all those guys did to me, the Kevin Youngs, the Howie Hudsons. You know, I'm 16 playing with these guys. And they just...
First of all, hold on, let's go back. Let's make some noise right now for my guy, Howie Hudson, real quick, fam.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yo, Howie used to put up so many points. And he'd be like, yo, did they get that right? You sure? It looked like he had more. Right?
Relentless.
If he had 47, it looked like he had way more than that.
run up your chest and pose his will on you. You know, I saw Howie early with him and Sean Rowe and my man Mo. They used to be that's the original Brew Crew, not the Brew Crew that you saw later on.
Right.
When they was playing citywide and I was following them around. You know, those was guys that I saw from like jump. I saw Vernon Moore. You know, when we moved to Southside by Baisley, he would come down 120th Avenue, dribbling 2 balls between his legs, and play me and my brother 1-on-2 pickup in Baisley Park at 8 o'clock in the morning every Saturday morning. We thought he was Superman because we never seen the 2 ball thing, so we thought he was Superman.
Right.
So as time went on, a lot of these guys just became like brothers to me, and we wound up competing. You know, and I learned a lot. Big Ronnie Williams, another guy. You know, because I also got family in Queensbridge. You know, shout out to my man Kenny Ito. You know, and those guys there. You know, so when you have family all over, you get to move around. Yeah. You know, I had family still in the Bronx. You know, I ran with a lot of Brownsville guys. You know.
Yeah,
my man Mo Les, them cats.
The other boroughs didn't come to Brooklyn for some reasons. Like, yo, fam, we coming out to Queens. We got to go out to the Bronx, Harlem. Not too many people coming out to Brooklyn to play.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I love Brooklyn for this simple fact. If they messing with you, they messing with you. If they not messing with you, you ain't got to guess. They'll let you know, like, my man, you need to pack it in.
Right.
And beat up out of here, because we about to change on you in a minute. So, you know, yeah, man, I used to run with Soul Man and all those cats with Bo King.
Oh, man. Let me tell you. R.I.P. Soul Man.
Soul Man was tough.
Let me tell you. Me and my guy, Pat Burke, was just talking about this. We played the championship game in the St. Louis tournament. So, Soul Man comes down, and Pat smacks the floor, want to guard him. He cleared it out. He threw it between Pat Burke's legs. Pat turned around. Soul Man caught it and threw it back between his legs.
Yo, when they talk about,
they won't forget it.
When they talk about white chocolate,
he was the original.
The original. I don't care what nobody say. And when you look at him, if you ever really paid attention to him, his arms wasn't that long to be doing all that stuff he was doing. I was like, yo. This dude look like a penguin. You kidding me? How is he doing all this stuff? So, yeah, Soul Man was tough, man.
Wow, man. Nah, you hit a call with that one, man. So, yeah, man. Let's talk about that crazy game, man. You and Dave. You know, that post I put up. I'm sitting through, you know, I do my little research every now and again. Let me see who scored the most points here and there.
Right.
And I wanted to put up with the ones that made sense. You know, these guys scoring all these points, and I was just like, in one game?
Yeah.
What the are they doing? Now, I know you guys is capable of doing that, but I'm just saying, when you look at it on paper, 30 years later, you're like, holy, that's crazy.
It was one of those games where we couldn't miss. And we played, Dave loved Sherman Douglas. So we ran like Syracuse.
That's why he dribbled that shit so hard. Him, Dave Edwards, and Gerald Green, and my man Rod from Grady. They were the hardest dribblers in the world besides Sherman Douglas.
The general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2 through 4 could dunk. Dave was the only one that couldn't dunk. But we knew what Dave could do. He's going to come down and shake you and drop them dimes. So it was basically off to the races, man. And, you know, I remember that game because I got mad at Coach Gregory, rest in peace, because he took me out of the game. I was like, at least let me get 50. Because we knew that Boo held the record. Dave had already smashed that. His Uncle Ron had 52. So I was like, just let me smash that, and we could both break their records in the same game. Like, Coach was like, sit down. So I'm sitting on the bed with like 3 minutes in the game. I'm like, man, I could have made this shot by now and been up out of here.
Well, let's get this straight. You wasn't going in the game and making a three, right? Was it three? They had 3 point. They had the 3-point shot back then.
That's where the majority of my points came from. I just sat on the wing.
When did a 3-point shot came in New York City? Was it 89?
80, it's like 88 or 80. They did the trial like in 88, and then it was 89. It was official.
Yeah, because I was already gone. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I remember we had it in at MCI.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, man, that was a blessing in disguise.
So listen, bruh, with all the numbers you was dropping, who ass did you bust or shut down to let you know I'm one of the top dogs in the city?
It happened way before I got to high school. Funny story.
Do tell.
I watched Villanova beat Georgetown on TV. I used to run with guys out of my park. They was called a Budweiser crew. They used to play in Centennial Park. 13 years old, 14 years old. First game is against Gary McClain. Just watched this guy on TV win an NCAA championship. So, you know, on TV, everybody looks little, right? I get on the court, I'm about 130, 45 pounds. This dude is like wide. I'm like, but then I realized, oh, he's slow and he really can't jump. I'm going to just pick him up full court and then I'm going to make him play me. And after that, I was like, I might could do this. Because everybody kept asking me, yo, what high school you go to? And I'm like, I'm getting ready to go to high school. They're like, what? So for a long time, I played with men. I didn't really even play AAU like that. I played at the ISA Pro-Am tournament. So you played against Elmer Anderson and Big Bob Jones and all of these guys, and you're 16, 17. So you're learning the pro game, you're learning the speed of the game, you're learning the physicality of the game. So it's like, you know, you're getting a crash course before you even get to where you're going. So playing against my peers became very easy. You know,
I think that's something that kids should take note of because they play AAU and they playing all of these games and beating up their body. So by the time they really get on the level to play, their body's already worn out. You know, instead of it's not how many games you play, it's the quality of games that you play that's going to make you better. And if you're playing against people that are higher IQ, a little bit more physical, by the time you play in your age bracket, it's going to be a piece of cake. And a lot of us from our era played with the older guys. That's how you got better.
That's how you got better. That's how you, I remember my brother was up in Potsdam. So I went up on a Christmas break. And he hadn't seen me play in a while. So we all went to the gym, me, him, and a few guys from the team. And shout out to Pody Mitchell and Tim Harris, my man, Big Barry Stanton, Big Stroh. Stroh is about 6'3", 265. My brother hits me with the in and out. Nobody calls the pick. This fool hit me with a pick in the back of my head that if I didn't do like this, I would have knocked all my teeth out. This is how hard this guy hit me. So everybody's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, let's go. So in my mind, I said, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. So next we get a fast break. So I couldn't palm the ball. So I bounced the ball. It was me and him on the break and caught it. And he fouled me just in time because I was going to dunk it off. And the coach, Jerry Welsh, was walking through the gym at the time. And he stopped. He stopped the game. He says, who is this? So everybody's laughing. So he was like, where'd you come from? Who are you? So my brother goes, Coach, that's my little brother. It's like, little brother, you want to come here? I said, Coach, I'm getting ready to go to high school. I'm not even in high school yet. He goes, well, we got some schools up here you could come to. Don't worry about it. We'll get you here. And I'm laughing like, is this guy for real? Because I'm still kind of green to it.
Right.
And my brother's like, yeah, they really trying to, get you to come up here. But I was like, nah, man, I'm going to stay down in New York City. I said, because y'all up here 4 hours away from the Canadian borderline. I don't know if anybody up here knows anything about anything. So I'm going back down. So it was always things like that. And having older brother that was really only like 3 years older. But when you're younger, that makes a lot of difference. And him kind of like taking me under his wing and guide me and meeting a lot of people and going a lot of different places and playing is what really made the difference, you know.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Salute to your brother, man. And got my
Yeah.
guy, Michael Blissett.
Oh, Mike Blissett,
Yeah, definitely. He said, my brother was a problem back then. Definitely. Salute, Mike.
Yeah, Mike was the guy. He lived around the corner from me. And funny story, right quick. He was a hell of a pitcher. He tore his rotator cuff at St. John's University. But this guy was in high school pitching 93 under control. Yes. Mike, he talking about me a problem on a basketball court. He used to have me go in the batter's box. And after a while, when the pitchers are zipping by you, I said, man, you got to find somebody else, man. I'm scared. I can't do it.
Yo, the super athletic family. Brother played football at Temple, and his nephew played for Miami. You know, so salute, man.
Yeah. Sure. Mike was the guy when my partner and I we was shopping ourselves as package deals. My partner Charlie Tatum had came home from New Mexico, and I couldn't get out of my letter intent to FAMU. Mike was the guy taking us around to all these schools. His partner just had bought him a Beretta. And we was trekking all up and down from New Post. And we tried to get into school, and guys like, we got room for y'all. They ain't got no room. We got money for y'all. They ain't got no money. So shout out to Mike Blissett, man. He saw us through all of those times, man. For
sure. What he did what he doing, you know, with Cardoza, what he did for my guy Seth Marshall and all the kids out there in Queens, man. So salute to you again, Mike. For sure.
Yes. Yeah, my man Mike Blissett. Sure. Rest in peace to his pops too, man. Mr. Blissett was like the father of the neighborhood to a lot of people, man. They wasn't scared to tell you the truth. He'll tell you if you a bum. with love, though.
Yeah.
You know,
you need that.
Yeah.
So who was your toughest competition, and what players gave y'all the most problems when y'all was at Jackson?
Honestly, we gave ourselves the most problems. You know, Dave was the type of guy, he would look at who he was playing, and it became personal. So a lot of times the cohesiveness just wasn't there. You know, but he's a phenomenal player. I don't take nothing away from him. You know, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead because that's my brother and I love him.
No doubt.
You know, but I believe that if we utilized everybody, we could have had at least 2 city titles, especially my first year there and second year, because nobody.
It was a tough time, and if you know you have 1 or 2 wrinkles, that will stop you because it's so much competition.
Yeah. I mean, Cardoza with Coach Leclario, with Roheen and those guys, who they beat us one of the years I was there. We lost to Newtown the first year with Omar Lee and those guys.
Yeah.
But those guys were like 6'5".
Omar Lee. I love to hear my guys' names when they bring up my guys. Omar Lee was a problem.
He wasn't a problem. He was everybody's problem.
Yes, he was the problem. You know, I played with him, so I'm good. We good. Me and him played with Rev. You know, little rebel boy.
Yeah, and my last year, my senior year, we lost to Manhattan Center right before we had the chance to go to guard. So, you know, between me, Crafton, and Ted, we just spread it out across the board where you didn't have to work as hard, which is what I felt we should have been doing all along. But, you know, because we have 5 guys that can average 20, 25 easy.
Sometimes that's hard. It's only one basketball.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is. And everybody did what they did. So it's all good.
No doubt. So that senior year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're looking at the all city, people that made all city. Did you know off the bat, like, I'm going to be all city? Or you read the paper like everybody else and was like?
I'll be honest, I never paid attention to any of that stuff. I'm just now getting articles from people that, you know, I asked a buddy from mine today from Boston to send me the article on the 47-55 game.
Right.
My aunts gave me articles and stuff like that. I didn't really, I couldn't even tell you where one of my trophies are to this day, because I really wasn't invested in basketball like that. And for me, it was more about the camaraderie, friendship, and the guys you met, and the memories that you made with each individual. You know, so for me, basketball wasn't really in the forefront like that. It was just a tool. You know, because I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't like. You know, and for me, it was like, I remember this one guy was talking about how we was not real basketball players, and we was like the Harlem Globetrotters and all that stuff. And I asked him, I said, have you ever played basketball at any level? He says, no. I said, so then what gives you the right to judge me? You're not even my peer. And he didn't seem to like that. So, but it just goes to show you. And, you know, I always looked at it like, if it wasn't for us, a lot of people wouldn't have jobs, because there wouldn't be nothing to write about. There would be nothing to scout. So why am I pandering to you when you should be pandering to me? Your livelihood is because of me. Whether you take basketball away from me today or tomorrow, I'm going to still make it, because I don't invest in this like that. And I think it's a shame what a lot of us had to put up with on any level, you know, without going too much into it. But you know just as well as I do a lot of stuff that goes on, man. You know, so I never invested in basketball like that.
Look, brother, the things I know about sports right now, on the grand scale of things and what they really mean, it's totally different from when I was a kid, right?
Right.
But also, starting the show and doing the research that I had to do and finding out a lot of the things that you heard, didn't think were true, found out it was true, and was like, oh, this is why this happened. This is why he didn't get to go. Oh. Then one day, I'm reading the list for Mr. Basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the dates, when they started it. Okay. Then I looked at who won the state championship. I'm like, this shit looks like a pattern. Oh.
Yeah.
Somebody's picking and choosing who gets what and who does what.
Right.
Like, it's just like the people in the, you know, the government, not even the government, the other people that pull the strings for the people that's in the government.
Right.
The same, on the same level.
Yeah. Everybody's mobbed up behind closed doors, you know. And but that's what I mean.
I've been in. Whether it's basketball, education, music, entertainment, movie industry.
Right. You know, my statement is always, if you took the money away, would they be doing it?
Facts.
Would you be coming to the ghetto? Would you be coming to the projects looking for black men if there wasn't some benefit in it for you? You know, so
a lot of these people aren't creators. They're takers. They're not creative. They're not going to create anything. They give you a false illusion of some money to take something real that you have.
Every time. So me knowing this from a young age, I didn't look at sports like everybody else looked at it.
Right.
You know, I always tell people basketball is what I did. It's not who I am.
Facts.
You know, it's you know, we didn't come from the best circumstances. So my college talk was, well, we don't have any money. I hope you're as good as they say you are in the newspaper, because we ain't got no money for college. So you basically have to get out there and make it happen early. And it teaches you to have thick skin. It teaches you to be tough. It teaches you survival instincts that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, because it also translates into corporate America. Any field, as you say, you know, and, you know, that was my thing. You know, that was my thing. It's like, I really don't need you guys. You need me. So why are you trying to brainwash me to believe that I need you? I don't. If I walk away today,
the whole trick. That is the whole trick. to make you feel like you aren't who you supposed to be, right? They always got you looking outside of yourself to find something that's already inside you.
Yeah, here's a true story. 2 things happened to me in high school. I'll never forget. So now we talk about the Empire State game. I almost didn't play. My English teacher told me, why should he pass me when he said his son was 10 times the student I was? And all my monkey ass had to do was put a ball in the hoop and I was set for the rest of my life. So I'm going to go on and fail you. And I had a 93 average in his class. Go to summer school. We got to write a paper. My paper was on racism in sports. The English teacher calls me over. She says, William, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I failed English. Don't play with me. What are you doing here? I said, clearly I'm here because I failed English. It's like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. So she says, you don't belong here. She said, what happened? I told her. She said, you passed. Come back at the end of the summer and pick up your grade. And that's how I was able to come play in the Empire State game.
That's crazy, yo.
Next thing that happened, Mike Lupica came to interview me and asked me how did it feel to be one of the best high school basketball players in all New York City. I said, correction. I'm one of the most gifted young men in all New York City. He didn't seem to like that. So I gave him my resume. I said, did they tell you I'm taking on college-bound courses? Did they tell you that I built the fashion program in here with money that I won from contests? I put back to make sure that other kids coming behind me can have the same opportunity. And that man never wrote another nice word about me for the rest of his career. I could have scored 900 points and you would have never heard about it.
And people don't think things like that exist, man. It goes on every day. Every day.
It's a shame, man, because like I said, without us, Pooh, where's the coaching jobs? Where's the scouting jobs? There's not even a league. Where's the basketball camps? Where's the sneaker endorsements? Where are all these things that we provide as amateurs to afford people to feed their families? Where the plug?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not.
We're the outlet, right? We're actually the outlet because they got to put their plug inside us to get that juice.
Right. I mean, me and rest his soul, Tom Kachowski had this talk, and he later on apologized when Coach Booker, that Coach Arnold Bernard passed away. And he said, Teddy, you know what? I apologize.
What happened?
He was just talking about you should be more like your brother and basically get along to go along. You know, and Tom is a nice guy. I don't.
Now, this is not to knock him, but this is the conversation that you guys had.
And I'm telling him, Tom, without us, you couldn't even have this conversation with me, Tom. Period. Like, Tom, you're here because of us. How do you feel you can talk to me like that? You're basically disrespecting me, Tom. But later on, he apologized. I give it to him. And he said, you know what, Ted, I realized you was a man for a long time. You was a grown man for a very long time, just the way you think. So I give him that. At least he came back, shook my hand, looked me in the face, and apologized. And it's done.
That's real.
You know, but I understood the power that we held back then. You know, and I just stayed quiet because it's give and take. Guys are actually benefiting from it. Everybody's not in the same circumstances. So who am I to interrupt somebody else's life? So you just live with it. You know, we can go on and on. You know, you got guys out here posing as philanthropists that are just preying on poor black men and molesting them too. But nobody ever talks about that. You know, so it's deep, man. But this is who I've always been. You know, my uncle, like I said, in Harlem, all up and down 125th Streets, those little crab shops where they used to make the wood carved canes and all of that. I'm seeing Dr. Ben. I'm seeing Dr. John Henry Clark, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. So you can't bamboozle me. You know, so once again, I never put that type of stock in the basketball. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, which I became today. I wanted to be able to call my own shots and control my own destiny without all the BS. I would rather deal with BS as a boss than to deal with BS as an employee.
That's so real. That's so
You know
real.
what I'm saying? So,
Let's
yeah,
say
man.
When America first started to let African Americans into schools, I think they let like 1,200 of us in. I think a number around that, about 1,100, 1,200. Only 93 people went into business for themselves. So they opened up the flood markets to college because they knew we were going to come back and work for them.
Right.
You know, I could be on here forever. You know, I've been in the education system more than 20 years and seen what they're teaching our kids. And then see, like, kids in my family who haven't been to jail, wasn't in gangs, was a good student. And then at the end of the 12-step program, the 12th grade, they have no idea what they want to do. Still, even with, 90s and 80 averages and, offers, they have no idea what they want to do in life.
You have to, people don't realize, educators are government employees. They have to feed the system. Like, my awakening came when I was doing, because I'm a vendor for the Board of Ed as well. So I was out in Brooklyn in 2012. And I had this assistant principal that gave me, quote unquote, worst 25 men in the school, young boys.
I love those kids. Give me those kids. Give me whoever you think is worst. Give them to me.
It's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with those kids.
Facts.
It's just that they can see what's going on, but they can't articulate it. So it comes out in different ways. So what I noticed my first day was there's four stores, right? I couldn't get a bottle of water in any of those stores. I couldn't get trail mix in any of those stores, but I had all the honey buns and cheap 50-cent sodas. You kill yourself in the places. Next thing I notice is you walk into school, most of your public safety are females. They're yelling at you. Most of the teachers are female. They're yelling at you. When that young man gets up in the morning, his mom is probably yelling at him. And when he hits the street, he probably got some more people yelling at him. So by the time he gets to that school, he's already checked out and he ain't trying to hit. On top of that, that whole sugar diet, he's turned up. So only thing I asked those young men from day one, what do you want to be? I didn't hear a rapper. I didn't hear an athlete. Mm-hmm. I heard lawyers, chefs, doctors. And then it's like, okay, well, what do you have to do to obtain the thing that you want? What are the steps that you have to take? And the kids lit up because nobody ever listened to them or even asked them what they wanted to do in life. So one of their grandmothers came one day. She said, I got to meet this Mr. Portwine. Mr. Portwine. I said, hey, how you doing, mama? She says, my grandson talks about you all the time at home. He put the video games off where he used to play it 16 to 24 hours a day because Mr. Portwine said, if I want to be that chef or this or that, this is what I got to do. And that lady cried on my shoulder. The assistant principal, who's another black woman, relieved me of my duties because you got to realize to get these grants, and it goes back to us feeding the system. She has to ensure that a certain group of people fail so that she can requalify for that grant, because if you can't prove that black kids got problems, you can't get money for black kids.
Facts.
So to keep on a $108,000 job and her Mercedes Benz and her going to Dix Hills, our kids become casualties, or they put them on medication to the point where they're zombies.
Yeah, bro.
So she told me, we don't need your services. Cut my check and told me to basically kick rocks because I was a problem. I was actually doing the work that she should have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our kids don't have a problem. Our kids are being done wrong. And on top of that, when I was in Brownsville, I found out that 85% of Brownsville was functionally illiterate. So now if your kid's in junior high school and they're now doing algebra and things that you didn't learn, geometry, how can you help them? The weekend school in BRC used to be packed.
Yes.
So I paid my dues, you know what I'm saying? And I got to see it. I was actually in an elementary school that had a failing grade of an F. And when you went in the principal's office, they had a placard for outstanding service for that same year. 11% out of 100. That's what their grade was. And they had the nerve to hang it up. And they had the nerve to hang it up by the principal's door. And I said, I know the parents have to see this. I've been in classrooms where I've read spelling papers that had at least 6 words misspelled that had 100. Because the teachers just passing these kids through.
Right. And then, you know,
and
they changed the curriculum to make it even more difficult for a kid who's looking at, you know, themselves according to everyone else and feel like they're dumb or they can't do it. And then they start acting out. And it's like, hello?
Right.
This is the reason why the system was set up this way.
Which was me.
Kids are being indoctrinated. They're not being educated.
Right, right. I mean, I got in trouble in 8th grade because my history teacher tried to tell me that Egypt wasn't in Africa.
So it's in the Middle East, right?
So you remember those globes we used to have in our house? Remember we used to have those globes? So she challenged me. She said, well, if you know better, you come teach the class tomorrow. No problem. Came, I put my map up on the pull down, you know, where they used to have the projector.
Right.
And I said, clearly Egypt is in Africa. And begin to teach. And she sent me to the principal's office.
It's like, hold on. What continent is the Middle East?
Listen, man.
And they would say it's not in Africa, but I'll ask you, what continent is the Middle East?
Listen, I don't know what drugs they on, but I mean, I get it,
and
because
some of the maps, they have some of the maps, Ted, they have Greenland bigger than Africa.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you realize that the maps are flipped around, right? They have all the European maps on top of the African countries, just so they like looking down on them. Like, look,
yeah.
It's all a mind.
It's a mind thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I got sent to the principal's office. So I'm sitting there. My mom comes up, and they ask her, "Well, what did he do?" "Oh, he's being disruptive." So I'm not saying nothing. How? And when it all came out, the principal had to look at her and say, "Come on, really?" And the principal was like, so the principal was like, basically it's true. You know what I'm saying? How could he get in trouble for that? And I'm like, look, your job is to educate me, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to challenge me so that I can grow mentally, so that I can mentally mature. If you're not doing that, you should lose your job. I shouldn't go to the principal's office. You should be out of work. because you're failing to do your job that you get paid to do. You know, so I'm around 13 doing all this stuff, man. You know, but I also come from a family that's rooted in Charleston, South Carolina. I say Charleston because nobody know where the hell Yemassee is. When I say
bro, if I say Bamberg, not too many people know where Bamberg at, fam. Trust me.
You got me on that one too, bro.
We in the backwoods.
That's where we at. We talking about snakes and all kinds of stuff running through your backyard, right?
Yeah.
So my great grandmother, I watched this woman work the land most of my childhood. My Uncle Nate, my cousins Dez, and all those guys down there. You know, when I went down in the summer, my thing was feeding the hogs and getting the eggs out of the chicken coop. We talking about outhouses. We talking about well water. We're talking about having a chimney in the middle of your living room to heat the house. So for me, it would be a disservice to allow somebody to treat me like that.
Facts.
To me, it would be a shame to my folks back home to even go for that. You know, and a lot of people didn't understand that. They just thought I was angry. I wasn't angry. I just knew better.
You knew better. You knew better, so you did better. And they thought something was wrong with you.
Yeah, you know, because the whole thing we was taught was like get an education so you go get a good job. And I always ask, what the hell is a good job?
Yo, everyone is told that. Listen, you know, besides educated, I also mentor kids. And I explain that all of us get told the same thing, right? And back when I used to do music, it was like this verse. Just go kick a little bit. It says, what if everything you was told was a lie and far from the truth and you never wonder why? All you did was follow the people you loved all your life and trust that everything they was telling you was right. That's all we do. Nobody researches anything. We just, okay, this is what you tell us. I got to be this way. Go to school, get a good job, be a robot, don't think, and just live life.
Right. And I mean, that's why a lot of people later on who finally learn the truth, they're very angry because they feel like they've been betrayed by the people that they love. But you got to realize something. For me, being born in 71, and you're a little bit older than me, we wasn't that far removed from slavery. So they was denied education. So for them, that education meant. So what did they tell us? You know what I'm saying? So you can't really fault, but you have to look at the big picture. You have to look at the whole system. You know, so.
Yeah, I agree, brother. You know, when I was saying those things, it was just like, my mom's got educated, South Carolina. She finished school. Didn't know that much about the world. She told me all that she knew, right? Right. Put me in a situation where I can learn a little bit more. And I think playing basketball kind of helped me because it exposed me to a lot of things. You know, going to Maine Central, being in school with like really rich kids and seeing the difference, knowing, and then being places where you're around other races, but there's no racism. Right. So then you realize that, damn, everybody's not like this.
No, everybody's not. You have your good and your bad, man. You know, I never chose my friends because they played sports or because they was this, that, the other. If I liked you, I liked you.
Me too.
If I didn't like you, I didn't like you. It was as simple as that. You know, and Hempstead opened my eyes to that because guys would tell me all the time. I had a friend named George, didn't play sports, goofy looking guy, but he was a hell of a human being. One of the best friends you could ever want. My other close friend was Conrad Anderson. They used to call him Butter. And I remember they said, why are you hanging out with those guys, man? You know, come hang with us. And in my mind, I was like, but you guys are assholes. I want to be around y'all. Yes. We could practice together, whatever.
Yeah.
You stay over there. I like these guys because I can just kick it with them. It's no politics with this. We're tight like that. You know, so I've always picked my friends like that. I've always been strong-minded and strong-willed. to this day, so, this is me, and I don't make any apologies for it, and I tell young folks all the time, the worst thing you could ever call me was a basketball player, because you put me in the box. I'm much more than that. I'm a human being first, a man next, a son, a brother, all of these things. Basketball is what I do or did. It's not who I am. And I don't define myself by that. Because if you take it away, I remain.
That's real, man. I definitely understand that. I've done so many things after basketball. I actually disappeared from the scene for a long time. Didn't go any games, didn't hang around.
Right.
The ball, that whole crew, that you come up with, kind of stayed away from it because I saw a difference. And I saw what basketball was able to do for me, and I was good with that. Right. So, and I tell a lot of guys to come on the show because we ain't just talking about basketball, right? No. In the beginning, that's how it all starts off. And then how did you use basketball to help your platform, transform into adulthood? Right. So, and that's what we're going to get at right now. But I just want to touch on one thing real quick. Being from New York, how was it being on the West Coast in your time there?
West Coast was beautiful, man. Beautiful people. Some of them I still in contact with to this day. 70-degree winters, man. I mean, like, I remember.
I got family in Sacramento, so definitely.
Yeah? Yes, man. Yes. I'm going to tell you a funny story, man. First year I'm down there, it's like 70 degrees, right? So I got my hibachi and my lawn chair and my lemonade, and I'm cooking out in front of my apartment because we didn't have a campus until I got to Sac State.
Got you.
And guys is walking by with triple goose coats on, like it's freezing. They like, you ain't from around here, are you? I'm like, how could you tell? They like, man, look at you, it's cold out here. I said, man, this is spring in New York. Y'all tripping.
That's right.
Y'all better come on, pull some of these chairs up and get some of this steak I got on the grill, man, and stop tripping, man. So it was good, man. It was bitter and sweet. By the time I got out to Cali, I was burnt out, man. I didn't want anything to do with basketball. I was just simply going through the motions, and it just didn't fare well for me. And that's on me. I'm not blaming anybody.
No doubt. But the good thing is, right, you're not caught up in your sorrow, right? You're not caught up in back then what would have been, right? No. You start to do well for yourself. And now, when we talk about you being a writer, you always had those skills because that English paper that you had to do to show your teacher that you didn't belong in summer school, that you could knock out a paper and it wasn't nothing for you, right? You always had that interest in writing?
Always been interested in writing, always been interested in reading. As you can see behind me,
yes,
my Sundays, I normally read a lot, study finance, study money, how it works, history. I'm a political science major, so, it was my 10th grade history teacher, Miss Rashad, who really, really gave me a different look at history and how to line it up and how to put things together. I really, really thank her for that to this day. I saw her at Coach Grammy's wake, and I hugged her, and she didn't even realize who I was. I guess she's like, "Who's this man?" I said, "Miss Rashad, how you been?" She said, "I don't mean to be disrespectful, young man. Who are you?" I said, "It's Ted. It's William." She said, "Oh my God, used to be a little old thing." I said, "Well, I'm eating now, so I'm eating better."
That's good.
But she was the foundation of the history aspect of it. My father actually helped me get into writing, and he wanted to kill that English teacher because he had worked with me on that paper. We did 3 drafts of that paper. We sat at the kitchen table in my house, and he worked on it with me. So he knew, can't be no way, man.
Right.
You know, so, you know, you don't cry about things. You keep moving. Like you don't allow people to strip you of who you are, because that's the program. And we have to understand it's about the redistribution of wealth. And if I can take an opportunity from you so that my child can have better odds, that is what I'm going to do. And that is what a lot of law enforcement does, because they know with that felony on your jacket, you can't compete for those city jobs or state jobs with their kids. You can't get that house that is the foundation for generational wealth that's going to make the difference in your family. You can still obtain it. It's going to take you a whole lot of hard work to get there. But hopefully you'll get discouraged and fall along the waistline like so many of our brothers did in the past. You know, because it's easy. It's easy to sell drugs. It's easy to get out there and hustle. It's hard to take that punch on the chin. You down for that 8 count and you get up and continue. That's the real gangster. You know.
Yo, Ted, that's what I preach to my kids. I said the real gangster, the dude who gotta get up, right? He can go back to sleep, but he gotta get up, right? It's a choice.
It's a fact.
We all got choices. The easiest thing to do, man. There ain't no skills in selling drugs. Everybody know who got the drugs. Let me get that.
Yeah, well, you know, the success for us is what we see.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the first thing a child sees, a successful dude who's on the block.
Well, you know, we think that money, cars, jewelry is success. It's not. You know, and we have to realize if somebody can show you something, it's either short-lived or they really ain't got it. All you got to do is study John D. Rockefeller. Because everybody thought J.P. Morgan was the man. Well, Rockefeller was the man. J.P. Morgan was just the front man for the Rothschilds.
He only owned 11% of his company. I think it was like 7 to 11%.
Yeah.
He didn't own anything.
Everybody was messed up. Remember when he died, his estate was like, they was like, that's it?
Yes. Yes.
And
this is what's happening now. We hear all these people, these names, and they put them on television. I said, if you hear their name, they don't really have power like you think you have. Or you think they have. If they're on television, they don't really have any power. It's the people that you never see.
Well, you know, today it's about selling our kids aspiration. So they'll market a Jay-Z, they'll market a Puffy. But let's remember, when Puffy got in legal trouble, he had to sell his buildings to pay his lawyer bill. So how rich could he be? If you had to go touch your assets and you ain't got it, how rich can you be? Everybody talks about Jay-Z's liquor that he doesn't really own. These guys are just leveraging their celebrity to take advantage of poor black people through aspiration, which is why Oprah sold most of her shares in her network and had to partner with Tyler Perry. They don't own that.
Another B. That's another B.
Listen, brother.
That's another B. Everybody you already said. You said
listen. If you really want to know the truth, go look at the hard data. So here's where we're at in Black America. When you take away a $40,000 car from the average family of 3 people, you're negative $1,500. That's where we're at.
Brother,
think about it. You take away a $40,000. You take away.
Because I don't want to dive deeper down this rabbit hole. Because trust me, we can go there. Trust me, we can go there. I already know.
And then, from investment aspect, how many of us invested in anything? And you can say, yeah, my 401k, my this, that, the other. So let's look at that. You'll work 20 to 25 years. If you're in the post office, you got to have 35 years plus age. And you may get a check for about $5 to $6 grand a month. $60,000? You was probably making more money when you was working. So what is our idea of making it? And then if you got kids that's going to college, most of us play around in our earlier years, so we blow a lot of bread. So towards the end of our time, we're trying to play catch up for all the things we neglected in the first 20 years or 5 or 10 years. So that means you're accumulating all these bills as you're leaving that have to keep getting paid. So when you're on a fixed income now, you're not getting that overtime. What is your finances looking like? Which is why most people now that are retired are working jobs. Financial literacy, man. You know, I see people every day, the lottery ticket line be crazy. So one day, a guy asked me, he says, man, you always come here, but I never see you play numbers. I said, I do play numbers, just not those. He says, what do you mean? I said, I invest in stocks, crypto, precious metals. I said, I make money while I'm asleep. I make money while I'm on the job. And I said, you know why I do that? He says, why? And I said, because one day I'm going to say, fuck it, and walk away. And I control my own destiny. I've always believed in being independent. Why do 100% of the work and get 25% of the profits? It just don't make sense.
Yeah, brother. Trust me. And the way we going right now, whew, that's a whole different show. How do you get this apparel and sneaker thing going, right? Because you already wrote how many books? 7 books?
I wrote about 13 total. A few are not published anymore. And a few got bootlegged by my African brothers in Harlem. But that only let me know I was on the right path. What my man say? I made it. Right. You know, got into the apparel game. I'm self-taught. Like I said, I built the fashion program in Jackson with monies that I won. So I was with Cherry Sticks Unlimited first. A friend of mine named Rolanda Panfield, who went to Pratt. She was a very close friend of mine. She got me into it. She started getting jobs and getting me through the door. But of course, that world, I wouldn't fare well in that world because it's, it's so, for lack of better term, pardon my French, it's real bitchy.
You gotta get along to play along, like Tom Kuchowski said. The rules apply, especially in the business world. Those rules apply.
Listen, I'm not mad at Tom. He told the truth, but I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry, I'm hard-headed.
No, that's real. And listen, I know you have a publishing company, right?
Yes.
Something I've been working on for a few years, but then this basketball show kind of took over. But I'll talk to you on the phone about that. I think you help me with this. Yeah, and it's right up that same path too. It's just my experiences.
I was actually trying to help Carrie Scurry.
Really?
He's putting together a book about, his travels in basketball. And I learned a lot of stuff about him that I didn't know. I didn't know that he was in a horrific car accident and had like 7 plates in his back. Right. And wherever that brother's at, I just hope he's well. Because he's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. I didn't see him playing growing up. I know Moses didn't know Carrie, and I didn't know the other brother. But
really? Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, we're all family. So
that's right.
You reach out to me, and I can help you any way I can. I will help you. He turned out to be good.
I think you can help me. And once you hear what it's about, I think you can be like, okay, can steer you in the right direction, for sure.
Yeah,
because I'm looking at your title, brother. The Theft of a Nation.
Yeah.
Right. The Trail of the Serpent.
Mm-hmm.
The Grandmasters.
Right.
Defending the Word. Now, I'm gonna just take a guess. The Grandmasters about chess?
No. It's about
Yeah.
the relationships. It's about the relationships in Europe prior to coming here and becoming these institutions that we see on Wall Street.
Got you. Got you. Got you. I knew we was on the same path. Just had to dig that out of there. Right? Because I'm looking at the definition of the trail of the serpent. I'm like, yeah.
The trail of the serpent. Yeah, the trail of the serpent is about the bank.
Yes, trail of the serpent. Yes, trail of the serpent.
That's
right?
about the banking system here in America.
Because I tell people, right, this Titanic that was sunk in 1913 was a distraction, and also it was a money grab like the Twin Towers, right? It was a big event that happened, and those people that was on that boat was sunk on purpose, right? And then right after that, you get taxes and Federal Reserve and all those things, and 33
and also
birth certificate,
and also the War of 1812, where they burnt all the repositories. Yeah. So the original 13th Amendment was an Titles of Nobility Act. So if you held a title in this country, lawyer, esquire, you could not practice law because those were British titles of nobility, and they was trying to infiltrate the country. Well, yeah, the company, because America is a corporation.
You got it right, brother. You got it. But so, don't every lawyer got to pass the bar exam, which is still controlled by Britain?
Now you do, because we're incorporated in Great Britain. So we're basically under British law, which is what the Uniform Commercial Code is all about. Yeah. But that's why we're where we're at. Oh, that's why we pay taxes, and that's why we will never have true ownership in this country. Because it's about the redistribution of wealth.
And then, my God put out that national memorandum in 1974, which we're facing right now. We can go deep, brother. Trust me.
Yeah, that thing there, it was with this COVID thing. Bill Gates gave a speech back in 2012.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about cutting down the carbon dioxide levels to zero. And we have to ask ourselves, who's the number one producers of carbon dioxide? Human beings. Because we breathe it out, the trees take it in and give us back oxygen. So he was basically talking about depopulation. And here we are today.
He said it on a TED Talk. He said, we need to vaccinate people.
If we do a really good,
2 to 6 billion people.
Right. If we do a really good job, he said, if we do a really good job.
Yes. He said we do a really good job at vaccinating. And I'm going, y'all didn't wake up yet?
You
know, on these lines. And my thing is like, when I see how people doing it, I'm going, yo, fam, serious?
Yeah, it's deep. I mean, they did, it's a documentary where FEMA went into the Philippines when Henry Kissinger was the leader of the World Health Organization.
That's when he wrote that memorandum. Yeah.
He basically told them if they didn't take the vaccines that they was given, they was going to withhold the food. So it was 3 young ladies that was in their last trimester of pregnancy. They took the shots, and all their kids was stillbirths. They was born dead.
There was a show, Jesse Ventura had a show called Conspiracy Theory, and there was this doctor from Panama. You saw that?
No, I didn't see that.
Brother, check it out. It was done a while ago. I saw the episode when it first aired, like in 2011, 2009, right around there.
Okay.
She flew in and she said, I'm only coming here to talk to you, then I'm flying right out of here. She said, not now, but the next few years, America's going to be, we're going to have mass vaccinations of their citizens.
Yeah.
And the whole depopulation. And she talked about this back then. She mentioned the national memorandum and that meeting that they had.
Yeah. I mean, see, most of us can't plan past tomorrow, or we can't see past tomorrow. So it's hard for a lot of us to fathom that somebody's been planning this for 100 years, 150 years. And then they have to understand when you're dealing in the craft, not the craft that we created in Egypt, but the diluted one that you got these Europeans practicing.
Yep.
It's a process. for them. You know, so what I try to tell people is stop trying to imitate the imitators who are imitating you, which is what the great John Henry Clark said, and I love it to death.
Yes.
You're trying to be like somebody's trying to be like you.
Yep.
You know, it's amazing how somebody can steal something from us, remix it, and give it back to us, and we swear it's the gospel.
And it's not. The hair, it's like, you know, it's like then the lightening of the skin, and it's like this is what beauty is. And
but you know, you got to realize if somebody brainwashed the God out of you, what would you become? What you see.
But brother, and
You know what I'm saying?
it's not the harp on the needle situation, but they're pumping out way more than the new Drake record. If I'm hearing that more than I'm hearing the Drake record, I'm not saying I'm not smart enough to go, hold on, something going on here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, it's like the Sarah Bachman whole thing. You know,
FEMA, my man Trump signed over the power to FEMA.
FEMA had the power before Trump.
There you
that's
go.
That's how they was able to destroy the topsoil in Africa and give everybody AIDS.
Yo, listen, bro. I say this. Yo, we gonna definitely talk, man. I don't want to keep you on here too long. Do you have a like maybe one of your sneakers you could show, the Triple OG sneaker you have?
Yeah, I got something around somewhere. Hold on, let me see.
All right, we here.
There we go. See that?
No,
these are the pythons, handcrafted in Italy.
Wow.
We got a manufacturing deal with
and I can buy them directly from you.
No, you got to go online. You buy them directly from the factory.
Okay.
So you go to Live Shoes, and you type in Triple OG, and the whole thing will come up. You know what I try to do with this is the packaging is themed for us. So these are like the black. I call these the black love. So the box reflects that. We have we got the Mike Tyson joints with high top crocodile joints. You know, and just positive images of us, because you have to keep balance in the universe. You know, and we need to understand that. We need to understand how vibratory frequencies work. We need to understand those upper and lower chakras and how they're affected by not only what you put in your body, what you see, what you hear. Everything that you intake becomes a part of your person. So you have to protect that with all your life. You know, so until we get back to our right place.
We're so many, you know, I'm not going to say I'm a strong entrepreneur like you. I'm definitely getting into that world. But far as like, you know, being a creator, mentor, lecturer, and now you're into the music. I know you probably been into it for longer. What kind of music do you play? What classics? House,
I play
disco, hip hop. Which one?
We slow jams. We love all day, man. OJ, Blue Magic,
yo,
Whisper.
Man, isn't this crazy? Here's more of this, right? They took away cabaret license so people couldn't dance and get a vibration off each other. Then they dumb down the music and start. You put the quality, you lower the quality of music to you got people who can't sing, who can't hit a note, and who don't make soul music. They took the soul out of the music.
Yeah, you have
produce R&B jams no more. Cause you know what R&B jams do? They produce kids.
But you know what? There's some young folks coming up, but they're not mainstream. It's a brother named Isaiah.
I know they're still making R&B, but the powers that be ain't gonna let you hear it.
You up on that brother Isaiah Sharkey?
Who?
Isaiah Sharkey.
Nah, I'm putting him in right now.
Oh man, he got this joint called Love is the Key. If you close your eyes, you think you're listening to Curtis Mayfield.
Yo, who is my top 5? This is my top 5. Fact.
Listen to that song, Love is the Key, brother. If you close your eyes, you think you're listening to Curtis Mayfield.
Wow.
You got Alonzo Ferguson out of Detroit. You know, you got the brother from Fonte, Eric Roberson.
Yes, yes.
You know, you got Incognito.
Have you ever thought?
Hold on.
With darkness in your
Brother, it's tough.
way.
Oh God!
Brother, it's tough. Brother, it's tough.
Ooh.
To the depths of your mind.
Yo, bro, thank you. I
Brother,
appreciate that.
brother, it's
I'm
tough.
a
He's
music
tough.
guy. I'm a music dude. So,
Yeah. My sister
and what I
Deborah out
want
here.
to talk to you about, as far as that book touches on that as well.
Okay.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That is crazy.
But that's what it's all about, man. We gotta just gotta get back to loving ourselves, man. And
That's right.
everybody has to be in their rightful place. You know, our pecking order is child, woman, man, not man, woman, child. Why? Because the child is the beginning, he's the full cycle of life and death. The woman is the source of that life, and the man is the protector of that life. So even little things like that can shape your mindset. Because now when we say man, woman, child, what do we say? The woman is the weaker vessel. So Harriet Tubman gets thrown out the way. Ida B. Wells get thrown out the way. You know, Queen Nzinga, who fought where there was no men to fight in Africa. They get thrown by the wayside because we have this patriarchal mindset, which is not who we are. And it doesn't be weak. It's not weak for you to recognize your woman for who she is. Because when she's out of order,
this was the feminine world before they turned it masculine.
listen, when she's out of order, you have what you see today. Because if she thinks she's a bitch, if she thinks she's a hoe, everything that comes out of her womb is going to be corrupted. It's going to be no good. She's the first teacher, everything she feels, and I don't care what a man say. There's always one point in a man's life where he's totally dependent on a woman, when she's carrying him, because she can determine whether he lives or dies. So,
Yo, brother, listen, I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to cut you off.
we good.
No, we're gonna have to talk we're gonna have to talk outside of this. We're gonna have to do something once a month out, just not basketball either. Not even basketball. Just
Nah,
what
brother.
we doing, right? Because
We gonna get up. We gonna get up. Now
you're saying it's hard to find people to talk to about.
yeah, it's rough. You know, listen, man. I don't knock anybody, and everybody gets in where they fit in, so to speak. But if I have a hard time dealing with my everyday reality and I'm escaping through liquor and drugs, or even hiding in between the woman's legs, how could I begin to have this conversation? And that's no knock on anybody. You know, but you have to be strong. You have to be men. And don't allow this world, this society, to feminize you and have you believing you're something that you're not. Because you heard it right here from me, science has not proven that. Because the man who wrote the resolution said it was not backed by science. And the APA is just like every other industry now, is controlled by people with an agenda. And stop letting people piggyback and stealing your rights from you by using you as a battering ram to fight their agenda. And then when they get where they want to get, they leave you right there standing. And they go on and get all the benefits. While you still
did it in the 70s. Fox did it in the 90s. They keep doing the NBA basketball. They all did it. They all did it.
You know, I told a brother, we was talking about the whole sexuality thing. And I said, brother, not every homosexual male puts it out there. There's some brothers that look like me and you. They're not feminine. So when you in Brooklyn and you in these neighborhoods and the cops beat your ass, they ain't say I beat up a gay man. They say I beat up another nigga. Or I killed another nigga. So we got to stop with this. You know, you got folks out there that is transgenders that are halfway killing women in MMA and in the boxing ring. And you're running circles around them on track because you're not a woman, you're a man. And that's weak. And I don't care how anybody feels about it. You are acting like your European counterparts. The playing field is unlevel because you have an advantage, because somebody made a law to make you have an advantage. So you can't tell me anything, bro. And I don't care how you feel about it. It is what it is.
No, you speaking so
No, and not you per se,
the
but
truth.
just in
No,
general.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're speaking truth. I was watching this guy the other day, forgot his name. He was walking around a supermarket breaking, like, how the hell you take stuff from a tree and sell it back to me? How do you take my shit, put it in the store, and sell it back to me? Like, this apple was on a tree. How do you take it out of a tree, put it in here, and sell it back to me, where it was mine first?
Think about it, man. I think Chuck D said it best. Why do I need permission to visit the world? The world is for everybody. Why do I need a passport? Why do I need permission to visit the world? When you really think of stuff and you just simplify it, it doesn't have to be complex. Just see it for what it is. You know, we got to start working on ourselves, and we really got to stop just pandering to the nonsense because I'm going to get 1,000 likes as opposed to 1 like. You know, I'm going to make $50,000 as opposed to making $20,000. Because everything that we do influences generation to generation. And if you don't believe me, just look how our narrative has changed over years and had us thinking for a long time. Like Africa was just a damn jungle. Like none of us ever did anything in America. I had a conversation with a friend just last week. We was talking about Kanye saying slavery was a choice and his reason behind saying that. But Kanye, there was 250 revolts right here on American soil. And it's documented. So there's no reason for you to be ignorant or to be irresponsible to put that kind of madness out in the air, because you will have the power to influence young folks who may not go do the research, and then they're going to repeat that. And we're talking about the universe. If you keep putting it out there long enough, it affects you psychologically and physically, which is why we where we are today for the most part. So, you know, like I said in the beginning, you take basketball away from me. I was having these conversations with my uncle, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. And he would force me to think. It was like playing chess with him. And he would ask me, well, why is this? And why is that? And why you don't question this? And what about this? You know, bless his soul. You know, so...
That's real, man. I got my awakening. I had this kid I went to prep school with, this rich white kid who sat down and put the quarter, the dime, the nickel, and the penny in front of me and asked me what was the difference. He was the grandson of the Caterpillar company, right?
Mm.
But he was just so messed up because he couldn't really talk to his mom and dad when he wanted to. And he was convincing me I was richer than him, but I didn't get it.
Right,
like,
right.
Everyone knows you. People love you. They come to your basketball games and watch you. I guarantee you're richer than me. I was like, man, your house is bigger than the school and we stay on the campus. He's like, he said, don't matter, Glenn.
Yeah, he understood. He understood.
He said, I'm going to show you you're richer than me. Call your mother. You know, it's 1987. He had a phone in his dorm room. Called my mom, said I loved her, got off the phone. Said, watch this. He had to call about 10 people to get in contact with his mother and father, and he still didn't speak to them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, people have to just...
I was just like, damn, you rich, you got a phone, and you still can't get in contact with your mother and father?
Yeah, it's about, that's the illusion of monetary gain, as we say. You know, a lot of those kids are messed up on heavy drugs. I knew one guy that told me he didn't sniff or inject heroin. He put it in his anus because the mucous membranes in his rectum made him get a more intense.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Blew my mind. You know, they're very poor in spirit because a lot of them are broken. You know, just to tell your kid, I love you. I appreciate you. You know, every chance I get, I tell my son, man, I love you, man. You know that, right? Just so he knows. It, you know, it doesn't cost you anything, but you never know what people are going through.
That's right.
You know, so we just got to get back to our rightful place, and we got to learn to love ourselves and each other, because if you don't even love yourself, you can't love your female counterpart. You can't love your mother. You can't love your brother. You can't love your friends because you don't even love yourself. You can't get what you don't got. You know,
that's real, man.
and it's very important, man.
Well, listen, man. I know. This conversation has been a blessing within itself. It's been enriching. I definitely want to keep this going on. I'm definitely going to be calling you.
Call me anytime.
Call you in the next couple of days. Oh, for sure, because there's some things I want to talk to you about. But also, I want to say, man, how proud of you, how proud I am of you.
I appreciate that,
you came from back then, how nice you was as a ball player, right?
Appreciate
to know
that.
how great you are as a man and the path that you're setting up for yourself and your family. And all the people that I know that I'm involved with, from my team to Coach, excuse me, to Eric Hicks, they all talk the same language about you, brother. And, you know, what we had and what we shared in the past is never going to change, and we're just going to make that even stronger.
That's what it is, man. Thank you for having me, man. And best of luck to you and the whole crew, man. I appreciate you guys as well. You know?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. For sure. And you keep doing what you're doing, brother, and we're going to keep celebrating you. We're going to come on again. We're going to talk about those books, right? And all the things that you got going on, man, because we're going to make sure that everybody knows what's going on with, you know, Ted Portwine.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
And the Dome Publishing, apparel, you know, and residential accommodations, and definitely the sneakers.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because mental health is a big issue. So we getting ready to do that big.
Okay. All right.
Getting ready to house.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, we're getting ready to house people that deal with mental illness, because those are services that we're not privy to.
Brother, count me in. Trust me, I deal with that every day. I work in the special ed school. I've been dealing with that for the last 20-something years.
Yeah, it's crazy. The data is scary, man. For
sure. But I want to let you go, man, and thank you for joining us here on Basketball Heads. We appreciate everything you do, brother.
Man. All right, appreciate you, brother, man. Stay up.
No doubt.
Peace.
All right. Oh, man. Great talking to my guy, Ted Portwine. And I want to say his full name, William Teddy Portwine, the entrepreneur. You never know what you might learn coming on Basketball Heads. We talk about it all. Basketball, life, lifestyle, growing up as men, respecting our women, and helping out the kids. That's what we do. Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and we are the Fish You Home for New York City basketball. Peace.